going to other networking events can be super like awkward, especially if you don't know anyone. If you're like someone that's like introverted or shy, it can be very challenging going to other people's events. And so I recommend hosting your own events. They're cool, it's fun. The only downside is like you don't know like how much time, energy, or bandwidth it can cost you if you don't know what you're doing. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Walk to Wealth podcast. If you're tuning in on YouTube or any of the podcast directories, make sure to do yourself one teeny tiny little favor and make sure to give us a follow, because I don't want you to miss out on any of the amazing episodes I got coming on this year. Without further ado, I got you guys with the finale of my events throwing series. As I've been telling you guys, I've been throwing a bunch of events. Not a bunch, but over the past 2 years, I've thrown like 7 or 8 events. And my events, I haven't missed, man. I've been throwing some bangers, not gonna lie to you guys. And after sharing with you guys all of the events I've thrown and how I've thrown them and put them together, I want to share with you guys a video a little bit different on like how to throw your first networking event. Like there's a lot of benefits on throwing your networking events. It's one of like the quickest ways to get more visibility for your business and bump into potentially some new clients, referral partners. But throwing your event can be super hard. Going to other networking events can be super like awkward, especially if you don't know anyone. If you're like someone that's like introverted or shy, it can be very challenging going to other people's events. And so I recommend hosting your own events. They're cool, it's fun. The only downside is like you don't know like how much time, energy, or bandwidth it can cost you if you don't know what you're doing. Which is why I want to break it down for you guys. I'm going to cover everything you guys need to know so that you can throw your first successful event and start getting a name out for your business in whatever city or town you're from. Now, quick disclaimer for all the perfectionists and stuff. This isn't going to be your last event. Right? This is your first event, meaning there's going to be more to come. In order to become a master, you have to start somewhere, right? And so don't worry about any of the finer details. Like I'm going to tell you guys what you need to know to put your first event together. And for those of you guys who haven't listened to my first event episode, I pretty much put my first event together 2 weeks notice, right? It was super last minute. We had maybe 12, 15 people there, not including me and my friend who helped out. So it's like, or me and the speaker, sorry. It was like 12 people in attendance. So it's like, that was my first event. And my most recent episode, I told you guys how I threw an event that cost me $6,500, right? It takes steps, but eventually you'll grow. And let's get right into this one. So I'm going to cover about, 7 things. I'm going to cover out the day and time to throw an event, the venue, securing a venue, drinks, food, ticket pricing, ticketing platform, and promotion. So we're going to start off with day and time. So to keep it nice and simple, Wednesdays and Thursdays have been my best days, right? I've thrown all my events. Every single one of my events was on a Wednesday or Thursday. Now, you can't go wrong with either or. Depending on where you go, and I'll touch into this in the venue part. Some venues, for example, my restaurant that I used to work at, on Thursdays in the summertime, like they'll have sometimes a DJ. So that's one way to make your event even more fun and make it sound even better than what it is by like, oh, we're having a DJ at the event. Hey, the DJ is not there for you. They're there for the restaurant, but they're there regardless. They're going to be at if let's say you're hosting at a restaurant, like they're going to be there, doing their thing anyways. So you might as well add that as like an added benefit of going to your event, like why your event's so good. Like we have a DJ. No one got to know that he's not like he's your DJ or not. They just got to know that there's a DJ there playing music, and it's not like let's say you have an event at a restaurant. It's not like the DJ isn't going to play music in your section. Like they're gonna turn the music off in your section. No, they're gonna play. If they're playing for the restaurant, they'll play for the whole venue, right? And so Wednesdays and Thursdays have been my bread and butter. All my events have been from 6 to 8 p.m. Sometimes 6 to 9. I like 6 p.m. start time because for anyone who's not a business owner, let's say they're working a 9 to 5, but they still want to get into personal development, networking, meet new people. That gives them time to get off work and potentially to drive over. And so you want to take that into consideration. Like, who do you want to come to this event? Assuming you're listening to this podcast, it's probably most likely going to be other business owners and entrepreneurs. But you may have some other professionals that aren't in the business space that also like to network and meet new people that may be interested in coming. So I'll say 6 to 8 p.m. is perfect. Sometimes you can get like an extended happy hour something like that. Like depending on what day of the week it is. But that's why I always pick Wednesday and Thursday because those are perfect days to throw events. The 6 to 8 p.m. probably also not going to be in competition with too many other like venues, right? It's probably going to be a lot more likely to get your venue for free doing it on a Wednesday and a Thursday versus like a Friday or Saturday evening, right? Because those are usually busier days depending on where you're at. So day and times Wednesday and Thursday 6 to 8 p.m. you can't go wrong. Now venue. Now there's so many different venues that you can host your event, and a lot of people want to find the perfect venue. Don't overthink it. I would find a local brewery or a local business, right, that has a space that you can use. Now, remember, your event doesn't have to be the world's biggest event, to secure a venue. My venue that I used was the training facility in my real estate office, right? As I said, that room holds 100. I had about 12 people, not including the speakers and me, meaning we had a whole lot of space in the training room. But like, it doesn't really matter, right? But I would recommend if you don't have a training room or facility, right? It's every town or city has to have at least like one local brewery, one local restaurant that has space by a bar, right? That's all you need. Even if you're not getting like, even if you don't drink yourself, whatever, or you want to host an event, you could even have like mocktails or something like that. But like, that doesn't really matter. And finding a local brewery or local restaurant you support, I would recommend going in or finding out on their website if they have an events manager or someone that hosts, schedules or coordinates the events or something like that. If you don't find anything on their website, I'd highly recommend going in, especially them being a local spot. Like, they're most likely, especially these breweries. I feel like for breweries, I don't go to breweries often, but the ones I've gone to, they seem a lot more friendly, a lot more open. I don't know if that's everywhere, but that's just my personal experience. But yeah, going in and asking, hey, or calling in, like, hey, I want to, host a networking event, and I was wondering if we can get like a space by the bar. It doesn't have to be roped off or anything. And make sure you say it doesn't have to be. We're not looking for like, it doesn't have to be our own private section. Like, we just want to know if, like, let's say we guys can accommodate bringing 15 to 20, maybe 25 people, right? And you can always get more, but just tell them 15 to 25. You never know. And if you have more people, you can always update them. And usually with this, a lot of people give you the space for free, right? A lot of people just let you like come. They may give you a little designated session, and then from there you can let people buy their own stuff. But we'll get into that later. So that's all you really have to do there. You don't have to ask for a designated section. You don't have to ask for complicated packages or anything like that. Just, hey, I'm thinking of putting a local networking event together. I want to support local breweries, local restaurants here that are in our town, and you guys are the best spot that I can find. So would you guys be able to accommodate me hosting a networking mixer here for 15 to 20 people? And if there's more that ends up signing up, you can always update it, right? Boom, that's your in. Now you have the day and time, either let's say a Wednesday, 6 to 8 p.m. Now you got the venue, local brewery. Another thing you want to take into consideration, what's the parking situation looking like? So the restaurant I host my networking events at, normally they have a full parking lot, not for their restaurant specifically, but like for the whole area. But like, that parking garage has like 5 full floors of parking, right? So there's ample parking, so no one has to worry, and it's free parking. When I host networking events at my mixer, at my training office, my training facility in my real estate office, that parking is completely free. Probably holds maybe like 200 to 300 cards. So like, I never have to worry about parking. So I always take that into consideration. What's the parking situation like for the venue? So that's another thing to keep in mind. Now, 3, all right, we got our date and time, we got our venue. Now, drinks. What I would do is I would let people get their own drinks, right? The reason being is, let's say you were talking to a restaurant and you're telling me you're doing an event for 30 people and you want each person to get, a drink ticket. Well, now let's say you don't get 30 people. Now you're coming out of pockets for drinks that, you wouldn't have had to pay for. Plus, also now if you have, drink tickets, then now you're going to have to come out of pocket more. And it's like, are you going to factor that into your pricing? And then it starts getting a little bit more complicated, right? So I would say for drinks, let people get their own drinks. If you're doing this at a restaurant, assuming you're following this, if you're doing this at a some type of like training space or like room, like a workspace room type of thing, like I did at my first event, then I would think of maybe some wine. I would say for red wine, Cabernet, Pinot Noir, or however you pronounce it. White wine, either Pinot Grigio or Sauvignon Blanc. Don't get one of each bottle. Just pick one red, one white, and then have some waters. That's it, right? You don't need anything more. But so hopefully, find a local brewery or a local restaurant, um, and do it there. That way, people can get their own drinks, and you don't have to worry about anything, right? Now, for food, you don't have to order food, but worst case scenario, pizza never fails. I wouldn't even get into like bringing food. Like if people want to get their own food, let them do that, right? Same thing with the drinks. Let people get their own drinks. Let people get their own food. You're just bringing all the people together. That's what you want your main job to be, is bringing people together for the first event, right? Now, if you want to come out of pocket a little bit more, right, get a couple pizzas. You're not gonna hurt anyone, right? Some people may eat it, some people may not, but I wouldn't, as I said, don't add extra variables that you don't need to add. So don't even worry about food. Now, for ticket pricing, for this first event, I want you to price your tickets for free, right? I want you to price your tickets for free. Assuming you're following this game plan, right? The venue shouldn't be costing you anything because you all you want is like a little designated space. You're not asking for much, right? The drinks, people can get their own drinks, right? The food, people can get their own food. So for ticket pricing, we're doing this for free, right? Because you're not really offering much. You're just bringing people together. But that is a very big benefit. So don't discount that. Like you bringing good people together is very valuable because these people are going to network, collaborate, hopefully do business together. Like that's very, very valuable. And that is worth something, right? But for this first event, it's more so we're not doing this to try and make money. We're doing this to get people in the door. That's the main reason we're doing this. And because we're probably not going to come out of pocket, right? As I said, with the venue, we're just looking for a space. For the drinks, people get their own drinks. For the food, people get their own food. You're probably not coming out of pocket anything right there, right? Easy. So for ticket pricing, do it for free. And so the platform I would recommend using is this platform called Mixly. I'm not sponsored or anything like them, but I've used them multiple times for my events. And they have this cool feature when you're hosting a free event. It's nice and easy to create an account. But when you're hosting events, when people RSVP, it shows the list of all the people that RSVP. And there's nothing better to host an event than social proof. No one wants to be the first person to sign up. No one wants to be the first person, especially if you've never thrown an event before. Like having social proof is so important. So let's say you have a couple of your friends like that register, right? Then it'll be like, oh, Joe Schmo and Liz Sue and Sally all RSVP'd. And now when someone else sees that, oh, we already got three people that are going to the event. Oh, I know Sally. Boom. Now they're going to be a lot more likely to RSVP. And plus, because it's free, it's a lot easier to get a yes. So I think in Mixly allows you to, people got to put in their emails to RSVP, if I'm not mistaken. So right there, you can start building your email list, which can be important for future events. But for this one, is you're building your list and you get people in the door, you're getting some social proof. Again, it's free to attend, so it's really, no big commitment on them. Just know for a lot of free events, there's going to be a lot of people that RSVP and register that do not show up. Do not worry. As I said, this is the first event, not the last event. And because people are buying their own drinks and food, it doesn't really matter, right? If 50 people RSVP and only 10 show up, it's not like you pre-bought any drinks or food. So you're good, right? You're not coming out of pocket. And then the last thing for promoting, right? For your first event, I recommend at least 2 full weeks of promotion time. So let's say your event is on a Wednesday. You want to go 2 Wednesday back at least and start your promotion. Now, if it's a free event, just know a lot of people will RSVP that same week, maybe even that day before, right? With all these, free events, low ticket events, people wait last minute to get their ticket, but that doesn't matter. You still need to invite them in advance so they could save that day and time. And so I would say 2 weeks from the date, right? The first thing you're going to do is start texting everyone, and preferably doing phone calls. But any friends, family members, colleagues, business partners that right? Start calling them and saying, hey, I'm throwing my first event together. I just want to, do a little networking mixer with all of my closest people. to come and have a good time, and always find a reason, right? For example, summer kickoff. The whole thing was that is kick off the summer and celebrate 1 year of me being all in my business. My birthday party. What better reason to throw a networking mixer than my birthday party? I'm turning 23, right? I only have a birthday once a year, right? And let's see, my 100th podcast episode. How many people made it to 100 podcasts? My 200th podcast episode. How many people made it 200 episodes published? Right? Those are all reasons. It doesn't have to be some big grandiose reason, but find a reason. Right? Any reason is a good reason, but just make it a reason, because then people are gonna be like, "Oh, okay." And another thing too, adding annual. That's a tip that I just learned this year. Right? So let's say you're throwing an event for in mid-September, right before fall, right? Fall, autumn kickoff, right? My first annual autumn kickoff networking mixer. Boom, right there, title. Right, that is your go-to. Now people are like, okay, it's the first annual autumn mixer, and a lot of your people that already support you are going to show up, and then you're probably going to get some new people, um but you're going to want someone to be taking photos, right? Someone to be taking photos. One thing I'd recommend paying for and coming out of pocket, even on this first event, is a local videographer, right? Come out of pocket, pay for that if you have to. If you know someone that can hook you up, ask them to hook you up, especially because it's your first event, right? Because you're gonna need that social proof for the future events, right? You want as much social proof as possible, so when you do your next event, people are like, "Oh yeah, I'm mad I missed out. I had FOMO and yeah, I should have been there," and then they're gonna be more likely to come the next time around, right? So after you get through all your texts and phone calls, so I went on a little soapbox. You want to post a flyer on social media, right? Let people know, tag as many people that support you and probably gonna be there, so that they can repost it. Um, then again, another strategy I learned last year. It's called the VIP guest strategy. I got this from my boy Brandon. He hopped on the podcast a few times so far already. But Brandon, one thing he did is people who he knows are going to be at the event and already got their tickets, he'll get a headshot of them and then come up with a flyer on Canva that just says VIP guest. Now, as a VIP guest, you get literally nothing. Like, it doesn't come with any additional features or benefits or anything. You just get a Canva flyer with your headshot that says VIP guest. And the only reason you're doing that is so you can post it on your story and tag them. And so you'll create, you get their headshot, put it on a little Canva template, say VIP guest, and with the date and time of the event, and then you'll upload to your story, tag the people, and now they're reposting it to their story. So now people seeing it on your end, and their audience is also seeing it on their end. So now even more eyeballs are coming to your event, right? Then another last little couple tips for promotion, right? IG story countdowns, right? Always when you're promoting an event, put the story countdown, like the timer, to show people like, hey, clock is ticking. Clock is ticking, right? Urgency makes people take action. So this is a great way to start building up some urgency. Like, hey, time is running out. Get to it. Get your ticket. RSVP. You don't want to miss it, right? Boom. Another thing, IG post reminders. On Instagram, you can add a reminder to your post and people will get automatically notified, right? So add that to all your posts when you're talking about your event, all right? Or all your posts in general, right? That you can. Boom. And then Facebook, create an event. It's free to create an event on Facebook, right? And then from there, you can invite all your friends. So that's another touch point, right? So now you're touching people on multiple social media platforms, right? You're touching people on IG and you're touching people on Facebook, right? And then the last thing, bonus number tip. So for anyone that's sticking around, here's a bonus tip. For people that RSVP, you want to create a little email sequence to remind them to show up, okay? So that doesn't have to be nothing crazy. You can create something on ChatGPT, but like you want to say, hey, thank you so much for registering, right? Then boom, hey, the event's 1 week away. Hey, the event's 3 days away. Hey, the event's tomorrow. Hey, the event's today, and like constantly remind them. Because as I said, we're doing this event assuming you're following my game plan for free. A lot of people are RSVP, and because they don't have no skin in the game, they just won't show up. So if you remind them, they're gonna be more likely to show up. Don't sweat the email. Don't take emails for granted, right? Sorry. Yeah, don't take the emails for granted. Reminders, they'll see them, and that'll be like, oh yeah, John's event is today. And you'll be surprised how many people need those constant reminders. So I would say, as I said, 1 week away, hey, you just registered. Here's your confirmation information, whatever. Boom. Then 7 days away, here's what you need to know. Um, venue, time, whatever, parking situation, parking details, etc. Boom. One that you're 3 days away, the event's tomorrow, and then you want to have 2 or 3 emails on the day of, hey, see you in 12 hours, and then, hey, see you in 3 hours, right? Boom. So that right there is, I think, 6 emails. You want to constantly be reminding people so that you get the most attendance at your event. And again, having that videographer there, make sure, and photographer, if you have to come out of pocket, come out of pocket. That should be the main thing that you come out of pocket for, is for social proof. Because when you throw your next one, people are gonna want to see, hey, how the last one do, right? And also, when you have photos, then people get to post all the photos and like, damn, now there's a bunch of social proof because a bunch of people are posting photos from your event. So yeah, so that's all for this episode. Hopefully, this helps you throw your first event. Let me know in the comments if this helped, and I got some other fire series. This is the last episode for this series. I may have a bonus episode because I'm literally right now in the process of hosting my next event for my birthday party. So we'll see how it goes. But of course, I'm gonna update you guys when it's all said and done. And then I'm trying to figure out what my next series is gonna be. So in the meantime, I'll catch you guys in the next episode.